Contrary to common belief, gaining or losing fat is a much more complicated issue than a lot of people tend to think. There is a whole lot more that goes into the fat loss process than the typical eating less and moving more. Essentially, today we're gonna go through the 5 common habits that you're probably making right now that are causing you to gain unnecessary amounts of fat. I get this question all the time, guys. How do I stay lean year round? So in today's video, I'm gonna break it down in an absolute nutshell. So if you're looking to avoid putting on that extra bit of fat, then you'll definitely wanna watch this video. The number one common habit that I see all too often is not getting enough rest. Now, when you are sleep deprived, this is an absolute recipe for disaster. There's 2 things that happen when you have not gotten enough rest. Number 1 is that you are more stressed throughout the day. Your cortisol levels are a lot higher, and as such, you are more likely to store fat from the food coming in and less likely to build muscle. Even worst case scenarios is you start to break down muscle mass, as cortisol is a catabolic hormone, and it's definitely not a good situation to be in. The second thing is that you're a whole lot less energetic, and as such, you are less likely to opt for the healthy option when it comes to eating food. It can become very, very easy to just jump on Uber Eats when you are sleep deprived, as opposed to making up a good healthy meal for yourself. It definitely doesn't lead to making the good decisions down the line. The number 2 common habit that I see is drinking your calories. I see this all too often, and it is a very common thing that I just recommend cutting out 100%, because drinking your calories offers you nothing but a little bit of thirst quenching goodness. Now, what I mean by drinking calories is having like a Coke or a sugary drink from Starbucks. While they might be good and some drinks could pass as healthy, there's definitely better options that you could go with when you're choosing to use your calories. For an example, let's say you have a small can of Coke. It's probably about 40 grams of sugar and 120 calories, and you're getting absolutely nothing from that but a little bit of taste in your tongue. But if you were to say have an apple instead, you're getting a lot more from that. You're getting a lot more vitamins, nutrients, and you're actually filling yourself up a whole lot more for the same amount of calories. The number 3 common habit is to avoid doing cardio. Cardio is fantastic because it is very applicable to actually improving your anaerobic capacities. So most cardios are gonna be aerobic, and as such are gonna improve your aerobic capacities. That's your respiration, that's your breathing, your heartbeat, and everything else in between. Anaerobic is things like lifting weights and things that are very, very explosive and a short period of time. So your aerobic capacities are gonna translate very well into your anaerobic capacities. So not only is it gonna improve your lifting in the gym, but it's also gonna burn some extra calories and avoid yourself going too far over and storing that unnecessary amount of fat. Now, one thing I used to do all the bloody time is not orchestrate my day in a meal by meal basis. So instead of eating, say, a meal here and there, having a larger sustenance amount of food, I would have snacks here and there throughout the day. You know, I'd go to the pantry, I'd pick some peanuts out, I'd go to the pantry again, 30 minutes later, I might have a cup of milk or something and a cookie or a sandwich, depending on how hungry I am. And ultimately, I was snacking around the clock. And that is the 4th common habit that I see all the time, is snacking around the clock. It's a very bad idea, because when it comes down to it, guys, you wanna be having an adequate amount of nutrition within your meals to really sustain and fuel you. If you're snacking all the time, you're not giving your body that adequate time to actually digest and process that food. And as such, you definitely could be screwing up your insulin sensitivity and resistance levels. To make sure that you don't become insulin resistant, which is gonna lead to unnecessary amounts of fat being stored, prioritize eating larger meals rather than snacking on just about anything throughout the day. It's a much better scenario. Now, another thing that I used to do all the time was watch Netflix. Now, I don't watch too much Netflix anymore, but when I did enjoy my good old Netflix here and there, what I would do is snack on some things. And typically I would grab a bit of food. I might grab a Doritos pack or something like that, you know, some grapes, some fruit, and I'd snack on it. And you know what? I wouldn't even think about what I was eating. It was just like, it was just something to do while I was watching my TV shows. Which leads me to the 5th and probably the worst mistake that you could be making, and that is unconscious eating. That is eating for the sake of eating. It's definitely not a good situation to get yourself in, and it's very, very easy to actually get caught up in it, because as the name implies, it's unconscious. You don't really notice yourself doing it. So the best thing to do, guys, is just be present when you're eating. Don't even go and pick up that bag of chips if you know you're just gonna sit on the couch, not even think about eating it, and just snack on it because it's something to do. Instead, realize that you are just unconsciously eating, and it isn't really helping you in any single way. However, if you do want to do this and you do enjoy having a snack here and there while you're watching a TV show or a movie, opt for something better than, you know, chips or lollies or biscuits or a cookie or something like that. Opt for like low calorie fruit, some watermelon, opt for some celery, some carrots, something like that. If you just like the crunch, try and replace it with something better. And in that way, you can definitely have your cake and eat it too. All right, guys, that is the 5 common habits that I see being made all the time that are causing you to put on unnecessary amounts of fat. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, drop it a like, comment down below anything you want to see from me. I will get back to as many comments as I can. So yeah, I would appreciate meeting you down there. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe and I'll catch you in the next one.